D. Watkins with Salon TV, and today I'm here with a guy who needs no introduction, Mr. Cuba Gooding Jr., Academy Award winning Mr. Cuba Gooding Jr., and also director of Bayou Caviar, an amazing film that I enjoyed. How you doing today?
I'm blessed, man.
In New York, playing in Chicago, Chicago.
That's it. Billy Flynn.
Yeah. How's it treating you?
Great. Absolutely fantastic. Been rehearsing all week. My real rehearsal was 4 months on the West End stage in London, so I've got 158 shows under my belt already. So yeah, Saturday will just be another good time.
How do you prep?
Well, every day you wake up and you do your vocal warm-ups. You get your, because the vocal cords are just another muscle. You get them loosened up, and then you just get on stage with the company, because this is a different company, and even though it's a lot of the same choreography, you still have to get the vibe right. You have to get the staging right.
I look at Broadway like walking a tightrope. It's like you make one mistake and the consequences just, you ruin everything. And I go to a lot of plays and I see a lot of shows, and it's almost like I've never seen anyone mess up.
Isn't that funny? What happens for the company, the people that are on that stage, is they do this show 8 times a week, 6 days a week. So it gets monotonous until somebody messes up.
Yeah.
And that's what we love, because it keeps it fresh. And you, the audience watching it, you might not get that we said the wrong line, because we always try to play it off. But backstage, we're laughing and high-fiving because we love to see a real good fuck-up.
No, it's well, you can do that.
That's why I did that. See, I did that.
So you feel like it's something that every actor should experience?
Oh, 100%, 100%. When you're doing film and television, you wait sometimes up to a year before you see your work. And this is a character that, you really cultivated and you got in the mindset of, and then you forget about him when you finally see it. But when you step on stage, it's that instant gratification of that connection with each and every audience every night.
It's like, a lot of people who were born in the 80s, like me, who came up, and, our first trip to the movies was to see Boys in the Hood. We looked at you as like an LA guy. Yeah. Then we got a little older and we saw Coming to America on like TNT or something. Like, that Cuba Gooding Jr. Eddie Murphy shaping Cuba Gooding Jr. up.
That's right.
But you have New York. You were born in New York.
Yeah, born in South Bronx, Soundview Projects. Yeah. My father got a record deal with either Motown or RCA, and part of the contract was a house in Cerritos in Orange County.
Right.
So that moved us, when my sister and I were young, to Los Angeles, and kind of grew up there from that point on.
You wanted to get in show business as a kid. You already knew it was in you.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I was cornball, doing every time somebody come over, I'd do the robot, show me, like, you know what I'm saying, do all that.
But you were a B-boy too.
I was a B-boy, yep, and was in a breakdancing crew, and wound up participating in the closing ceremony of the 1984 Olympics behind Lionel Richie. And that was, I think, my first real taste of global entertainment,
Yeah, it's like, when it's in you, it's in you. When it's just, you'll always be doing something in like every part of your life, even if you don't make it to the big stage. But what I really want to know, because you made it to the big stage, and amazing body of work, and you played in so many different films that we all know and remember and love. And I want to know, as an artist, is it difficult choosing, what role is best for you when you have to think about commerce, when you have to think about business and making the right decisions and making the wrong decisions?
Yeah, you can get caught up in that. I tell a lot of actors today, don't worry so much about the role, but try to work with good directors. Mm-hmm. Because you think about it, as an actor, you come to a set and you surrender your performance to the director. And then you hope that he interprets it the right way when you see the piece. And the real brilliant ones can make your performance rise to another level. And I think that's another reason why I became a director. Right. Because now I have an opportunity to not just go into the editing room and choose my best takes, but I get to, tell the story through the takes of all my co-stars, and then work with a composer and get the right composition for the emotion. And it's so intoxicating.
What's a good director to you?
Oh,
other than
my
yourself.
Goodness. No. But I mean, I've worked from Cameron Crowe to Ridley Scott to Wolfgang Peterson, Lee Daniels, John Singleton. I mean, these guys are real visionaries to me.
Is it just like the way
James L. Brooks,
the way in which they tell stories, or the way they communicate on set?
What it is they have a vision of a story to tell. Because a lot of times as a director, you come on a set, everybody has questions for you, from the hair people, makeup people, the director of photography, and they really don't care what your answer is as long as you have one. Because a director who's indecisive creates insecurity with people around him, and then you can lose your vision. But the real directors see the movie in their head. Right. And then when they get in that editing room, then they can really play.
So one thing about you, and just looking at your career, is you can't be put in a box. You've played a little bit of everything. You went from Trey to OJ to radio to back and forth. You had all of these different roles. But what do you feel most comfortable playing? What is like? Who are you as far as like the stories you want to tell, or the roles you want to play?
I think that the one through line to all my roles that really make an impact on people are the ones that have that emotional truth to them. I mean, if you think of Carl Bashir in Men of Honor, Dory Miller in Pearl Harbor, or Robert Radio Kennedy in Radio, and even Rod Tidwell, there's this energy, excitement, but there's this vulnerability in their emotionality. And I think that's the one through line that kind of connects them all.
Yeah, I played football when I was younger and got a chance to spend some time down south in some different places. I've met Rod Tidwell, so I think that's why so many people resonated with that character, because he has to carry his family. He has to be successful. He has to make it, and he has to be happy about making it.
Yeah, self-promoting, self-energizing, and dynamic on the field.
Had to, not just do what he had to do on the field, but he had to see things in Jerry that Jerry didn't see in himself.
Not only did he have to see it in Jerry, but he had to motivate him for him to see it in himself. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think that's why those types of characters, they resonate with so many people. But there's no formula for picking that. It just has to come to you.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that you have to. It's almost like if you think of the roles that make the biggest impact in my career, from Boys in Hood to Men of Honor to, The People versus O.J. Simpson, I was always in the position to be that character in real life. Like the line of reality and fantasy were blurred so much because, I was Trey back then, going from a breakdancer to being a lead in the movie, and Trey going from the ghetto, going to, to college and making it out of, this violent society. Or, Rod Tidwell once being a star and then kind of falling off and then finally getting the big contract. Me having played Trey in Boys in Hood and being a star and then going down and then all of a sudden winning the Oscar and being, like Rod getting the contract. And then even with O.J. Simpson, him going through this, the separation with his wife, having a young daughter. I had a young daughter when separation with my wife. So all of these characters always seem to touch on something personal in my life.
I know they take so much research to play. I know you want to learn them well and you want to be them. Do you carry a piece of them after the project ends? Or?
Oh, 100%. I think each role kind of leaves a little imprint on your soul. And the fun ones, the honorable ones, leave a good imprint, and the dark ones leave a dark one.
Yeah. What do you do with that dark energy?
In this instant, it took me a while to shake it, but now I'm singing and dancing 8 times a week, 6 days a week, baby. Billy Flynn.
It sounds like it's like a workout.
Yeah. Oh, I've been playing ice hockey 25 years. I box in gyms all across America. Nothing is as hard as singing and dancing 8 times a week, 6 days a week. And I think it's because as athletes, your coaches always teach you to breathe when you do the activity. But when you're singing, your breath is reserved for the vocals. And your body's still in motion, so it's a double workout.
Yeah, it's like, you could put an album out now. I mean, you can sing.
Slow down, brother.
At the same time, another stream of revenue.
That's right.
I think about a lot of movies that you played in, like a lot of stuff that's coming out in general, and I always wonder about social impact that some of these roles play. Do you think that, we living in these toxic political times, that artists should respond by making movies to deconstruct the narrative that we see in the media over and over again?
Not just actors and musicians, but painters and architects. Just any person who gets blessed enough to find his passion through the arts, should use that platform of artistry to expose people to ideas and beliefs that they might not all, be exposed to in their average everyday life.
I don't think we could have films like like Anita Hill's story being told if we weren't in this climate? Do you think, 100%. Can you think of anything else that's coming out or anything else that you saw that's helping?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm sure that there's, Ava DuVernay's entire career makes, statements, and Lee Daniels has some, powerful statements he makes through his films as well.
Are you thinking about making some of those films, or does that ever come across your radar?
I wrote 3 original screenplays prior to doing Bayou Caviar, and each one I hope helps people to connect with the material in a way where they see themselves in the characters that I write, and in turn help them heal in some way, or at least find a solution to some of their problems in life. I think that's the statement I make as a filmmaker.
You know what would be a great film? Your story.
Yeah, maybe.
Your story.
That's what my father said.
I mean, your story is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you came from a family of artists.
That's true.
Both of your parents were singers.
That's true.
Passed it down to you, and then had this amazing Hollywood career. You think about that, or?
I don't think about that specifically to make it into a screenplay, but maybe one day.
You feel like you're too young?
I think I'm too young to reflect on my life because I feel like I have so much more to say.
Yeah, I think I reflect on my own, but like some parts is so dark for me that it's kind of hard for me to put it into a project, and I think I need to be removed like a little more from it. Do you think that, or of your own life? Do you feel like you want to be more removed from situations before you actually start to?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. There's also probably a part of my life that I didn't even realize I was going to experience that might be more truth to tell about what the grand scheme of the picture is, that is Cuba Gooding Jr. So.
But you get the phone calls like, hey, you should write a book. You should put a memoir.
Oh, yeah. All the time, all the time. But I think like you, I'm a little hesitant on reflecting on it in that way. People ask me all the time, you have an Oscar. What do? Do you stare at it? Or, where do you keep it and all this stuff? And it's like, or have you seen this movie? Have you, do you watch your work? Do you study? I make it, I set it back, and then at one point I will look back and say, wow, look what I accomplished. But right now I'm still accomplishing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you're still working, and you have a lot to do. Yeah. So like,
I don't ever want to get lazy.
What's the last one of your movies you watched?
Ooh, that's a good question. Maybe As Good as It Gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on TV, and I forgot I was in it until it came on screen.
Yeah. And you feel like you would just want to go back and change things, or you feel like
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do, but I think each film is an experience of a time period in your life, and you learn lessons from every experience. So to stop some of those experiences would stop some of those lessons, and I would never want to do that.
Sometimes as a writer, I see my books in stores, and like I know there's like I just want to take them off the shelf and just rip sections out. Like I feel different now, like I've grown. But you're right, you take those experiences and you decide to grow from them.
That's exactly right.
So what's next for you?
I just we started pre-production on my next directorial debut. That we're prepping to start filming here pretty soon.
Yeah. Are you allowed to talk about what that film is about? Okay.
It's a thriller, though. To me, it's like I think I'm attracted to these stories of ordinary people, good people, who get caught up in a bad incident and how they find ways out of it and, in turn, find hope and redemption for their lives. And this is another one of those stories.
Yeah, and they're the type of stories I'm talking about. Sometimes I just feel like they do a lot to help people work their way out of their own situations. Because great films are powerful like that.
I think so, and I think if you've blessed me with 2 hours of your time, I don't want you to feel at the end of it like you've wasted your time. I want you to feel like you got something out of it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're going to continue to do things on Broadway after Chicago ends?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm hooked. It was a reason why I'm here is because I finished my run in London and was sad, and Barry said, well, you want to come to Broadway with it? And I was like, yes. Right. Yeah, so I'll be back.
What about Othello?
Yeah, Othello would be great.
Yeah, no, I read
a great film too, I think.
No, it would be a great film. Yeah. Has that been done? I think they did like
they
did like a version of it that's like
or Lawrence Fishburne was gonna play it and do a film about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was on stage with it.
So if you can have like your unlimited budget to create your dream film, what would it be about? Or what film would you make and would you play in it? You pick the director, you pick the director, you get the budget, you pick everything.
Well, I would want to direct it just because I'm still in that frame of mind. But have you ever heard of? I don't know what the Negro leagues of the Maritimes.
Yeah.
Ice hockey leagues.
No, I never knew it was ice hockey. It was ice hockey Negro League.
Runaway slaves went up through the East Coast into Nova Scotia.
Wow.
And met up with the Native Canadians, 1843 to early 1900s, and formed an all-black hockey league prior to the NHL. And there's a book about it, but there's a lot of history on it. I think that story will be a powerful one.
Yeah, the stuff you come across is just crazy. Like I read in a book called A People's History in Sports about a guy named Fleetwood Moses, who was like actually the first African-American Major League Baseball player.
Baseball.
Before Jackie Robinson. And he left because he couldn't deal with the racism, but he went ahead and created the machine, which actually became like the video camera or something like that. Like the dude had an amazing life, but yeah, no, that would be good. That would be good. That would be good. I think everyone would go see that. So if you take some time and tell everyone why they should go see Chicago.
Oh, you got to come see Chicago because it's been on Broadway for 22 years. And now we have a Billy Flynn with a little more soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cuba Gooding Jr., thank you.